Good morning. This is episode 4.5, or maybe I'll call it 4B, or how about 4.5 of Dr. Ström's Guide to Growing Medical Marijuana at Home. Episode 4 was the beginning process of germinating seeds. Episode 5 will be talking about transplanting those seedlings into an appropriate container. Container? Why a container? Well, you're going to be growing the marijuana outdoors. This is not in some basement with 1,000 billion watts of light, but rather using the sun itself. And occasionally Mother Nature can play tricks on you. The first 2 or 3 weeks of the seedling's life, they're rather fragile or fragile, and occasionally you can have inclement weather. Case in point, last year there was a storm warning, and then there was a severe storm warning. So I had the plants outside and decided to bring them on in, and sure enough, 20 minutes later there's a ferocious windstorm followed by hail, and they would have been pulverized. So you're going to be keeping your pots outside, and occasionally you might need to bring them inside if there's bad weather. Or if you start them very early in your growing season, like perhaps in May, there could be a frost advisory. You don't want them to freeze overnight. So the containers, well, if you're Polish or cheap, and I can claim heritage to both, I recycle. So this is a yogurt container, and you do want to poke holes in the bottom for those vessels to drain the fluid appropriately. And then I will use this is a sort of a generic potting soil, and it contains peat moss all the way from Quebec, Canada, and perlite, and they use both fast release and sustained long life limestone. What the heck is that? And a wetting agent. And I also use a nutrient. Now this is a bloom nutrient that facilitates the growth of young plants, both indoors and outdoors. And this container is about $10, but it's still half full, and I used it last year, so I'm not going to use much. And you will put so many capfuls of this into a gallon of water, and then that's your nutrient solution. And you'll be watering the plants with this nutrient about every 2 weeks. The nutrient itself has some nitrogen, let's see what else here, phosphate, potash, and it comes from all sorts of wonderful things like poultry poop, as well as fish heads and kelp. Interesting, sounds tasty. So in preparation for the transfer of the seedling, I cannot stress the importance of water. You want to have the entire container filled up with bubbly, gooey, liquidy water. Now, you don't have to use the nutrient every day. Once again, this will be enough for the first 2 weeks. Finally, the next point is location. Where to put your containers? Well, you should look into your city and town state ordinances, because they may not want you, or they may not allow. There may be a legal prohibition about keeping your plants in the front yard. So in my state, they request, sort of mandate that your plants not be in a visible area. And so, yep, here's some plants. And, well, not too visible here. There's no public thoroughfare. It's not the front yard. And you want them to be in an area that has about 6 hours of direct sun, and yeah, there's about 6 hours of direct sun. And it's somewhat sheltered, so people cannot meander by or see in, and also help protect it from inclement weather other than hailstones and frost advisories. So stay tuned for episode 5 coming up in a little bit.